Welcome back, everyone. We're here at the Writer's Parachute, welcoming you and guiding author and writer dreams to a perfect landing. Today, we have with us another very special guest. We have Adria Gaebrialla. She is a writer, author, and Reiki master, and we're going to be talking to her in just a few moments about her debut book, From Disbelief to Assurance. But of course, we always start out with the topic of the week. Of course, don't forget to stay till the end of the show where we're going to pull a report on the tip of the week. So let's talk a little bit about marketing materials. That's going to be our topic today. So we're talking about marketing materials. When do you need them? Where do you get them? How much do you need? What do you need? And I would say that right off the bat, the easy answer is you don't need any of it. You can just show up at an event with you, your table, and your books and sell them, and that would be fine. If you're wanting to get into marketing materials, though, and kind of do yourself a favor, the first thing I would say is to have items that you're willing to give away. These would be things like stickers, bookmarks, sell sheets. Sell sheet typically is just a small sheet of paper that has a short bio for you and a copy or a picture of your book and a short description with a link or a QR code. Now, I would say either use a QR code or use a short link, such as a link tree or something of that nature that gives them a multitude of links without having a big long list on whatever it is they're receiving. Make it easy on your person. You'd be surprised how often you will get back in sales from people who don't purchase from you or don't purchase everything from you on that day, that will come back and buy books or things from you at a later date because they have that information. So, you have to decide what it is works for you. You have to pick and choose to see what is going to work for you and your audience. Now, for me, I work in children's, so stickers and bookmarks and rubber like bracelets with sayings on them, those work great for me, as do like coloring pages and things of this nature. Now, if you're in a different genre or you're working with a different audience, there'd be different things. A lot of times the romance writers and some of the sci-fi and some of the young adult writers will give away character cards, which has a picture of the character as they imagine it and maybe some description or information about that specific character. There are a lot of different things that you can give away. People have all kinds of things. They give away ribbons, they give away balloons, all sorts of things. You have to decide what works for you and your audience. Now, one of the other things that a lot of people like to have is a banner. And I will tell you that most of the ones that you see are the pop-up banners. And those are great, but be cautious if you're using them at an outdoor event. The wind does like to catch them. They do get tripped over a lot. I've had them smack people in the head. I've had them smack me in the head. So I don't use them too often when I'm at outdoor events. So I tend to only use those when I have the corner where I can make sure that they're stable and nobody's tripping over it. But there are other banners that you can get. You can get the vinyl banners that are a step and repeat. That only means that it generally has like one item on it that's repeating over and over again across the length of the banner. Oftentimes these are used as like backdrops for photos or something of that nature. There's also the regular vinyl banners that you can hang up either on the back of your booth or across the front of your table. There's also the option of getting a table runner that hangs off the front of your table with information. In fact, I just had one done through Etsy that was ordered, made, and shipped to me, and I received it within like about 48 hours, which is amazing. So
wow.
There are plenty of places to get. And so do go and check, for those. The one that I use the most is Next Day Flyers and nextdaydisplay.com. They have pretty much everything that you could want to use. I like using a one-stop shop because I don't have to keep sending that information over and over again. They pretty much do, flyers, postcards, banners, bookmarks, character cards, their Next Day Display and Association also does the pop-up banners, the step and repeat banners, or the vinyl banners. They also do tablecloths. I mean, they do all the way up to, they'll even make you your tent if you want them to. Speaking of tents,
Wow.
I would strongly suggest that you have some kind of covering for your booth if it's not being provided, especially if you're outside. Weather is a factor that you should always be prepared for. If it's not going to be a hot day or a rainy day, it's probably going to be a windy day. So be prepared. Make sure you go with weights if you have a lot of paper products. The worst thing that can happen is you get there and all of your stuff is flying all over the area and you're having to chase it down.
Yeah.
Also, we talked a little bit about this last week when we were talking about the in-person events. Be prepared. Make sure that you have little sticky notes so that when people ask you to sign your books and stuff like that, they write their name down for you, because it's really easy, especially nowadays. People don't use a lot of common spellings for their name, or they'll use more uncommon names. So you want to have them write that out for you so that you can make sure that inscription works well. So again, like I said, just pick and choose what it is that you think that you're going to need. And I would strongly suggest that you don't get a supply that's going to last you more than 6 months to a year, because like me, I get bored with it. I want new stuff. I want to be different. So, and unless you get a really great deal, then maybe you want to stock up, but be sure you're happy with it. There are many printers out there that you can use. There are always local printers. There's Staples, there's Office Max, there's also Printing online, there's Next Day Flyers, there's Vistaprint. There are so many places that you can go and get your marketing materials done. Just do a little homework. Go search, check social media. Oftentimes there are coupons listed there. You can also go on your website browser and look for coupon codes that are available. They're pretty good about having different coupon codes for you, either for free shipping or for discounting. So if you have any questions specifically about marketing materials or a specific marketing material and you would like to ask us here at the Writer's Parachute, of course, you can always leave us a question or comment in the notes or in the comment section here on YouTube or on your podcast platform that you're watching us on. Of course, you can always send us a question direct through the writersparachute.com. That is the new website. So we hope you go check that out and leave us a question if you have one, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. We're always trying to help you navigate through the jungle of publishing and getting your book out into the world. It's not always easy, and we just keep trying to get you guys going and get you the information that you need. So that's going to do it for our topic. So now, of course, we want to get on with our show and get to our interview with our very special guest. She is with us today is Adria Gaebrialla. She is an author, writer, and Reiki master, and we're going to talk to her about her debut book, From Disbelief to Assurance. Gaebrialla has been learning and applying spiritual teachings to help herself heal and develop since 1978. After 40 plus years of exploring and clearing her own past, she now assists others in finding answers. She is a spiritual regression therapist, intuitive Reiki master, and spiritual channel medium. She is also certified in Between Lives regression, advanced energy management, advanced vibrational training, and hypnotherapy. Adria has a bachelor's degree in exercise physiology and a master's in education. She hopes to inspire healing and growth by sharing her evolution through her books and a spiritual retreat center where people have the freedom to relax, heal, and explore in an uplifting, supportive environment. Welcome to the Writer's Parachute, Adria. How are you today? And I have to tell you, I love your book. There's very few books that literally stop me in my tracks. And my husband's just kind of crazy. He's like, I have not seen you go on and on about a book in a really long time, and this is the one that I really have, and I think I've convinced him to read it now. So how are you today?
Well, that's a terribly awesome compliment, so thank you. I am doing great. I'm so grateful to be on the podcast with you. It's so helpful to me to listen to it. It's just an honor to be here and be with you, and we've known each other a long time, and I've just gained so much. I wouldn't be here, I think, without your assistance. Well, eventually I would get here, but not as quickly as you've helped so much. and help so many people. So I'm really grateful to be here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, it's, we've known each other for a while and we've talked about your book, but I was really kind of surprised when I read the book, and I really enjoyed it, and it's very well put together. It's a big book, but it was a quick, easy read. I was surprised how fast that I was able to get through it, and it was one of those that I felt like it was a page turner. I really didn't want to
Mhm.
put it down. I didn't want to stop. I just wanted to keep reading, reading, reading.
Mhm.
So now
That's
you
great.
yourself have had kind of a unique journey to writing and publishing this debut book, from disbelief to assurance. So can you kind of tell us what convinced you to write and share this story, because it is kind of personal?
It's super personal. Yes. Well, I was in my first career, I was teaching, and it took so long to get to that point and then to be, kind of in the midst of that career. And then I had got injured and another injury piled on to that injury. And I ended up having to leave teaching. And I was at a huge crossroads thinking, well, I didn't plan to retire this early. And what do I do with my life? And what do I, what's next? What do I do with my time? And plus I was in pain and recuperating. And so I turned back to what I'd kind of left behind a little bit with teaching, turned back to spirit, turned back to try to find answers and get direction. And I took a class in the artist's way, which helps writers get unblocked, which if you ever get blocked, that's the way to get unblocked, to get the creativity flowing again. But for me, it not only did it help my creativity, but the daily writing just like the cork out of the bottle. You're only supposed to write for a few minutes a day or a few pages. So I would write those pages and 10 more or 20 more. It just, all this started coming out. And then I thought, well, if I want to know what to do next, maybe I should look at where I've been first to see what I've learned, what I need to still work on. So I have a direction. I didn't know what to do. And so I started it that way. I didn't actually sit down to write a book. I actually sat down to just try to figure out where I was at. And I had experienced all these different regression experiences, these different past lives. And I thought, well, what have I learned? What did I pick up? What do I still need to work on? And it evolved over that. And I actually, on hindsight, I really think spirit was involved with kicking me out of teaching because I mean, they're like, look what we had to do to you to get you out of teaching. So, and I didn't want to do it to begin with. It was the weirdest thing.
Well, no, I completely understand that, former teacher and, kind of health issues and stuff like that, which is what finally led me to do what I do. So I totally get where you're coming from with that. So it's like sometimes
Yeah.
we're a little stubborn, and it's like we keep going down
Yes.
that wrong path, and eventually we'll get our journey corrected. So, you began at a very young age to question and seek answers. That was one of the surprising things for me in this book, was how young you were when you first started looking for these answers. So I want to know, how do you think that those early events set this path for your journey?
Ah, yes. Yeah, I didn't really realize how young I was until I started putting dates on things. I I've always been really curious and I like to know how things work. So that, I think curiosity is a big part of it. But I also had a lot more time to think because I was the sickly one. I was the one who, was in the hospital with tonsillitis or, all this kind of things. I was the one with the asthma. I had a lot of colds and stuff growing up. And so I think I was more introverted because I was dealing with more and as a child. And there were things that I felt were really unfair. Like I was the one who was always sick and hurting and having trouble breathing. And my sister was the one who was always not sick ever. And she always get to do it. And it just didn't seem fair. It was not fair. It's like, why is my life not fair? And that was my big question. Why is this not fair? Why is this stuff happening to me and not to her? Why does these crazy things happen to me and not to other people? So I felt so odd and so different and such an oddball that I'm like, why am I here? What am I supposed to do while I'm here?
Well, and
So,
that was the thing that really kind of resonated with me is I could even hear your parent, but I could hear my parent, just that repeating, oh, this is just the way it is. Life is not fair. And you're just like, as a kid, you're just like, that's not an answer.
right? It's not an answer. I agree. It's not an answer.
It
It
was
was
like, I know
not satisfactory.
yeah, it frustrated me as a child when I got those kind of non-answers from my parents. And I was just like, really? It's like you could
Yeah,
just say you don't want to answer the question.
right. It's as bad as useful as because I said so. It doesn't help.
Exactly.
So, and I'm a detailed person. I really wanted to know why. Don't just tell me life is unfair. That doesn't work for me.
Right. And I was so much, and I see myself sometimes in reading your book because I was a very curious uh answer seeking person as a child too. It's like I taught myself to read because I thought there was some big secret in reading. I
Well,
mean,
there is
well, there is, but I mean,
a secret code.
it was just a different thing than what I found. But I mean, that's kind of the
Yeah.
reason I did it because I thought, oh, there's this big secret locked behind books. So
Yeah. I did always like exploring. I remember that now. We used to live by a creek, and I would always go down and walk through the forest and play in the water and find, pollywogs and all that kind of stuff. I was always into exploring. So it's just part of who I am, how I came in.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the way it is, and like I said, that really resonated with me. I could see myself in your situation going, yep, yep, I would have done that too. Yeah, I would have done that too.
Right. And I had so many doubts too. So I think the fact that I was so intensely curious really helped me persevere, especially after seeing so many traumatic scenes and have so many difficult things come up. I think a lot of people would have just quit. It's like, okay, I ain't gonna do this no more. This is crazy, But for me, I could see that it was big picture. It was helping me,
Mhm.
even though it was difficult to look at. A lot of stuff was really difficult to look at. You
Yeah.
get the easy version, but for me, like the book is set up sequentially by date, but the dates are not like this day and then this day and then this day, or like 1 week apart. Sometimes it's years apart
Mhm.
because it took me a lot of time sometimes to come to terms with what I was learning.
Right. And that kind of surprised me when I was looking at the dates because that would seem almost shocking. I would think that,
Right.
you're just kind of going along living your life and then all of a sudden it's like kazam,
Exactly.
here's a memory from something that you have no idea what it is and you're just like, wait, what?
Yep.
Did
It
I just
was.
drop into the twilight zone here?
It felt like that. It felt like that. It was very surprising. Yeah.
All right, so you talk about in the book and you share information gleaned through meditation and spirituality and religion, which I
Mhm.
found very interesting that you were able to kind of marry the three together when a lot of times when I read books and I hear people talking, they kind of separate those three out. Generally,
Hmm.
religion doesn't speak about spirituality in the way that you're speaking about it or meditation, but you kind of merge them. And I want to know, um, can you share how you believe they work together in concert? Because I think, again, it was just a new approach as to how they all are kind of, again, married to each other.
Yes. From a very young age, I was curious about religion because I've been wondering why I've been here for a long time. And the first place I turned to was religion because that's where people go to get answers. And I got some answers, but more questions. So, but I did find in exploring so many different faiths that there's commonality there. There's a common goal. The social aspect of working together with other people who are also searching for answers. So there's a camaraderie and a like-mindedness there, the energy. So it's very uplifting. And I still love going into sacred spaces because there's just something about the fact that people say, well, this is a house of God or this is a spiritual sacred space. There is something sacred about it because it has been declared this is a sacred space and you can feel that. And just by stepping into the room, you just feel like you got to talk quiet. So that was the starting point for me. But my questions went beyond what religion could answer, or what the structure, because it is a limited structure, but it's a great starting place. For me, I wanted to learn more about, well, what happens after you die. What, you asked me to ask Jesus to come into my heart. Well, what does that mean? And how does that feel? And what should I know? And should I feel something, or what's up with that? So I always had lots of questions. You'll find that out in reading. Yeah. But spirituality, I feel, is more of the process of discovering who you truly are, and partly answering the questions like, why am I here? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to learn? Where do I need to improve? And also to start recognizing what's the amazing part of who I am, the uniqueness of my own personality or soul or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's the spiritual journey. That's just starting to recognize that you are an immortal being within this shell. And that's a big, I'm going to drop that right there. And meditation, though, is a way of connecting. It's a way of receiving support. So you drop into your quiet space, and you just let the energy, excess stuff that you don't need anymore, just drain into the earth. And just imagine yourself having a direct line plugging into the universe or your own higher wisdom, that the calm self. If you get quiet and listen, you hear so many things. Like today, I had the music on and I was feeling nervous about coming on here, and then I just shut it all off. And then I could hear higher self going, hey, it's going to be fine. We're with you. Then I could hear. But if we're constantly distracted, especially in our culture now, there's constant noise on. I know people who constantly have their television on. It's almost like they don't want to hear their own thoughts. And sometimes what we think are our own thoughts are actually, guidance from our own higher self or from spiritual wisdom. But we're not listening, not always.
Right.
It's important.
And I think for me, what was really surprising is that you were saying that they all kind of go hand in hand with each other, that you were saying that prayer in and of itself is a form of meditation and a form of connecting not only to yourself, but to that higher power that you believe in, and learning those lessons that are exclusively for you, that may not be included within the text of whatever religion you're working on. And I thought, I'm thinking that is such an amazing way to kind of look at it. It's like it all works together. You don't have to be a spiritualist or a Christian or a person that thinks about just being meditative or something of that nature. You can be all three, and they don't interrupt or disrupt each other. They all work very well together. And I think that for me was just kind of like this big aha moment, going, oh, well, she's right. It just never clicked with me until you pointed that out. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I it's like, because sometimes I think for me and for other people, when they're exploring their spirituality and meditation and stuff like that, we almost feel like we're walking away from the religious beliefs and doctrines and stuff. But you kind of clearly make that kind of a non-argument by saying, when
it's all part of the same thing.
We're meditating, when we're we're also connecting to that spirituality. So it's like going, ding.
Yeah, the power is us and in our thoughts. Right. It's like when we say, I wish my my friend gets that job. When that's a prayer. If we think good thoughts or send good thoughts to someone in a hospital who's ill, that's a prayer in another, or you could call it manifestation, or you could call, there's a lot of words for it, but it's semantics. The power is, what is our intention? What is our thoughts? What are we feeling? What are we trying to create? Because we do create with our thoughts. So.
Right. Yes, yes. It's like I surprise a lot of people when I mention the word abracadabra, which has kind of this push and pull with it. It's like some people like the word, some people don't. But honestly, the Hebrew translation, and it's not literal, but so don't come after me for this, but literal Hebrew translation is to speak to life,
I
which
love it. It's great.
is kind of what we do when we have dreams or aspirations. Is we're going out and saying, hey, I want to be this, and you're almost
Mhm.
creating that life by acknowledging it's something you want to go after, which
Exactly.
I think is just amazing. If we have that power within us, then we need to recognize it and to nurture it, because just
Mhm.
imagine if we nurtured the good in ourselves, how much we could do. It's like I think we
So
spend so much
much.
time on the negative parts of our lives. So,
Right, exactly. I noticed this when I was still teaching, that when I came to work, I'd say, "How you doing? How you?" Because I tend to be a positive person, and they're like, "Oh, somebody's sick again," and da, 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 da. And I'm like, "Wow, okay, I'm sorry." Because like, gee, they didn't just say, "Well, I'm fine," and not mean it. So, and then I thought, I wonder what would somebody do if I said, "I'm fantastic."
mhm.
Because usually people start with a negative thought and then they kind of commiserate. It's like, oh, yeah, this is happening to me. And oh, yeah, Johnny's sick and blah, blah, blah. And it carries on and it just like expands the negativity. And I thought, let me just do an experiment here. It's like next time somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'm going to say, I'm fantastic. And I did. And it ended the conversation. There was no more. They're like, oh, okay. And walked away. They need to go find somebody else who wanted to talk.
Probably over the corner, it's like, she's fantastic. I wonder what she's been doing.
Well, see, I thought somebody would say, well, why are you fantastic? But no, they didn't. It didn't go that way.
No, no. I think
Maybe someday,
it raises suspicion. It's like, oh, she's happy.
right?
Wait, how did that happen?
How is she happy? What is up with that?
That is surprising. So,
It is.
in the book, you actually explore many past life experiences. I was surprised at how many that were included, and I got to tell you, I'm going to warn you guys, if you're reading this book, some of them are traumatic, but she does handle them very, very well in a
Good.
very classy manner. So it's I don't think it will traumatize the reader, but you do feel the trauma that Adria went through when she was experiencing it. So
Yeah.
I want to know
Yeah.
what you think was the most surprising of her past lives.
This is a big question because, like you said, there were so many surprises. Wow, there's so many coming through my head. I got to start with the first and the last, and probably one in the middle.
Mhm.
So the first one, I was like, we were talking about meditation. I went into a little chapel and I just said, let me just cool off from the heat outside and just close my eyes and just rest. And bam, I went into this really shocking lifetime where I played a role. Well, I don't know if I should say it or not. Should I say it?
Well, that's it. It's your comfort level. If you want to reveal it now, or you want to make them read the book.
Well, I do want them to read the book, but this just to show the level of shock was that I was at a place that I was trying to experience some kind of spiritual awakening. So I was there at that place, in that zone, in that area of the world to try to get something to happen. And it wasn't happening. So we went into this little chapel and just kind of chillaxed for the afternoon. And that's when we finally let our guard down and stopped searching. And that's when it came in. And I ended up popping into a past life where I was at the crucifixion and I was one of the Roman soldiers. So it was super traumatic for me because I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no, this is not a good space to be in. I did what? Oh my God. It was really shocking. And but also shocking was the fact at that moment, one of my spirit guides started talking to me and I heard a voice, not my own, a male voice, which was there was a presence that went with it. So that was a big shock. And then on top of that, I could hear Jesus come in. I felt it, the peace, it's really hard to describe, but the presence, and just like, hey, what do you want to ask me? You got our questions. What are you going to ask? What do you want answers for? And I was just, what do I ask first? So that was a big shock. And, just spoiler alert, I didn't actually kill him. So just saying.
Right.
That was more his choice. But then the last one also was a big shock, mostly because there was some familiar, there was this particular type of music that I was really drawn to all my life. A good part of my life, I felt really deja vu when I heard the music. And then it turned out that I had this really famous lifetime and was that composer. Oh my God. I'm like, no way, no how, that is not me. Nope. And that was the big shock. It took me years I stopped everything after that opened, because I had a crisis. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? What's happening? This can't be right. I am not a famous person. I wasn't ever a famous person. Come on. And it's funny because other people have read the book, asked me, well, why that one? Why did that one bother you so much? And I think it's because of the traumatic events and experiences of that lifetime. It was a can of worms, is a big can of worms. And you'll hear more about it in volume 2. But that one lifetime, it was huge. And it took a lot more to clear the connections and the trauma from that one than probably any of the other ones I've even looked at.
Right. And
shocks.
I'm going to jump a little bit back or forward. I'm trying to remember where exactly, but you have this moment when you're actually talking to someone who's leading you through one of your past life regressions. And I remember you coming out of it in the book and saying to this person, it's like, well, how do I know I didn't just make this up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was very critical for you to share that with the audience today, because I think everybody has that question. They're like, well, yeah, I mean, you could have just made that up in your head.
Oh, yeah. You saw a movie and it's just repeating now. Right. This is the common thing. Yeah, I was at a seminar where I was learning how to go into regression on purpose instead of accidentally. And the response was great. And it's just like, well, if you're going to make up something, why would you make up something where you have, trauma, death, and dismemberment versus why don't you make something nice? Like you're wealthy and happy and wise. Why wouldn't you make up something fun if you're going to make up something? So that kind of stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, oh yeah, why would I make up something horrible instead of something nice? So, and my work as a regression therapist now, and a lot of people have that same reaction. I'm just making this up. It's just my imagination. And what I've learned through the years now is imagination comes from somewhere. It doesn't come from nowhere. It might start with, oh, I remember my grandfather, but then it opens up like a flower. There, it might start with, oh, I remember my grandfather, but then it leads into something much bigger. When I was doing my training for regression therapist, we were on the very first day. We were supposed to practice our therapist's voice, the calm, steady therapist voice. And so we were paired up, and one person was just supposed to lay there and just make up wild whoppers of stories. And while the main person who was practicing was the person, and then what happened? And go to the next scene. So we're supposed to practice our voices. And so the guy I ended up with, he started telling this tale. His whopper of a story was about, well, I'm in ancient Greece and I'm wearing a toga and I'm sitting and I'm really happy. And then I'm like, okay, what happens next? And he's like, oh my God, they're coming to take me away. They're dragging me away. And pretty soon this guy is on the bed screaming, writhing, and clearly being tortured. I'm like, teacher, something's going on. So it started out with him making up something, but it took him straight into whatever he needed to clear. So it's more trust your soul to guide you to what you need to see the most to help you.
Well,
it was very disconcerting.
Well, and I can imagine that. And that is the one thing that I got about it is like, you don't get to sit there and pick and choose what life you're going to jump into and see and the lessons and all that stuff behind it. It just kind of happens. And it's like, I got that from you in the book that each time it happened, even when you were prepared for it, it was still shocking.
It was. It was. I mean, you go in with the best of intentions. That's why in the introductions, I say, okay, well, this is what I was going for before the session. At the end of the session, it's like, well, that's not what happened. So, but I did get this other stuff instead. So you over the years, really the big thing that I've learned is to just trust your soul self to guide you where you need to be going. Because think about it. Your soul has the big picture. It has all the pieces of the puzzle they have all of them. And we're just looking at a few pieces here and there. And we don't know what's going on, really.
Right.
We're doing the best we can.
Yes. And I want to know, so back to that about what was the most surprising, what do you think was the most revealing experience to you?
Okay, so what do you mean by revealing, if I can question that?
Sure. So what do you think? So a lot of times when you're going through these experiences in the book, you have a conclusion after of what you think you should have learned or what that life, how it connects to your present. So, and in some cases, it honestly revealed things that you didn't want to know or that you were shocked to know. So I want to know, what do you think was the most revealing life regression that you had?
Well, there's a couple, I think, that I could share bits of. One of them, I go into a past life as a craftsman. I'm a master craftsman in it. And in that life, I am really just such a professional woodworker. I love the smell of wood. I love working with wood. And what struck me there is, like, all my life in this life, I have always loved the smell of wood. And I build furniture and I love working with wood. And I have no idea where that comes from, because my family, I don't have anybody in my family that does that. So that, to me, that was a connection that just, that's where that's from. So that was really helpful. In that same lifetime, there was an incident with some beef tallow candles. We used to make candles out of beef fat. And when I was a child, and also when I took my daughter on field trips to the old Spanish missions in California, that was the room I always hated, because I hated the smell. I always hated the smell of the big pots that they cooked the stuff in. It always creeped me out. And I had no idea why. And after visiting this life, I'm like, okay, that explains why. Because somebody I loved very dearly was killed by, an accident with one of those big tallow pots. So that made so much sense. And that was just kind of, I'd like to say surfacey, but it wasn't surfacey. To me, it was significant. It was more proof. But what I think was the most healing, the most helpful, one of the most helpful things was when I went into that past life regression seminar, and I was so traumatized from my first divorce. I had been doing all the regular counseling and everything, and I could not accept that. Why did I get involved with this family? And why was I drawn to my ex? And why was this? And what? And it just couldn't let it go. It was just really bothering me. And what happened during that seminar is I saw several lifetimes where we were together before. And especially one lifetime where roles were reversed. Like my ex-mother-in-law was my wife and I was the male, and my ex-husband was my son in that life. So then there was what do you call it? There was like a connection to these experiences. So like in the past, I didn't take care of my wife. I was a terrible husband. I assaulted her and she got pregnant, and then she died in childbirth. So sex equals death, and then and guilt. And then I felt guilty for that. So then I spoiled my son terribly, and he became a terrible person in that lifetime. Move forward to the present. In this lifetime, I always felt like I needed to take really good care of my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law. And I did for many, many years. And she still loves me. We're still in contact after all these years. And so that bond is survived. She didn't get to be his mom in the past, but in this life, she got him back. She was his son. This time she got to spoil him run, which she did. and I got to say no for the first time and mean it when I asked for a divorce. So just seeing those connections and how it's like, okay, I'm doing this here in this life because I screwed up in that one. So now it's my chance to set things right. And it just knowing that, I'm getting the chills too. Just knowing that, it was such a relief that all the talk therapy was not getting it. Mm-hmm. Seeing that, how things connected, and what my responsibility and what my part in it was super helpful.
Yeah. And that I remember that story, but I remember kind of all of them because, this ex-husband and mother-in-law keep popping up in your different lives. So it's like you talked about, how you kind of have this small circle of people that just kind of are like pawns on a chessboard, and they just kind of keep moving around and becoming players. But it's kind of like this is your group of people, and you guys all kind of find each other in each lifetime and end up interacting with each other. And I thought that was fascinating. But what I absolutely loved was that it was always you seeking answers. It was not about, oh, I get to be this person versus that person. Oh, I get to be a male versus a female, or I get to be the person in charge, a lowly person. It's always about looking for that answer, which I think was very helpful in trying to understand where you were going through in the whole journey of your book. So you kind of offer a unusual perspective on time in the book. And I wanted to know if you would share your thoughts on that with us.
Oh, okay. Yes. What I've come to discover over this process is that, well, I was curious actually, how can I remember things from centuries, millennia ago, and have them be so real and so intense and so vibrant? It's like, how is that still alive, basically? And the answer that I received was basically, well, all time is happening at the same time. In the spiritual realm, there is no such thing as time. That's a limitation that we sign up for when we come down to live in a human body. And so, in essence, the reason why it helped me keep going doing regression therapy is like, well, if everything's still happening, and then I'm still being impacted by the energies from those traumas. So that's why the memories would be so vivid. I mean, even when one lifetime, when I went in to do the session, I was shaking. I was physically shaking, shivering from the, my body just knew I was going to head into some serious trauma. And that, but by facing it and releasing it and healing it, all that has kind of fallen away from me. And that's the most amazing thing. And the more time I spend meditating, you might notice this when you're deep into a book, time just goes, and you have no, like, wait a minute, it can't be 3 p.m. because it was just 8 o'clock. So you know that time is flexible because of our perception of it, really. Mm-hmm. So when I meditate or do work with, like, regression work with people, 3 or 4 hours goes by and it seems like it's been an hour. And because when you're in that higher vibration, time doesn't exist. So.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. It's like, when and writers and authors should know this, because we get into that moment of flow where the words are just pouring out of us. and we'll look up and you're just like, wait, I wrote for 4 straight hours. How is that even possible?
Wait, it's dark outside. What's happening?
Exactly. I'll look up from my computer going, wait, where did the day go? Like I missed 3 meals. How did that happen? I'm not a mister. So yeah, I do understand that. So I want to know if you have any idea of what you hope your next life will be, or what the next life experience will be for you.
Interesting. It's funny. I hear people say a lot, I want to get, in classes I teach, I'm like, I want to get this stuff done so I don't have to come back. I don't want to come back here ever. And I think it's funny. I stop laughing out loud now, but it's just the people are just, they're trying to get here because this is the party planet. And let me explain that. I was regressing a colleague when we were doing the therapy training, and she went into a lifetime where this is her first human lifetime. So she was in a different dimension, in a different, she didn't have a body. There were no spoken words. So it was all telepathic. They were pure energy. And so there was no body, there was no words. And so since she was been born in here on this planet, she's always struggled with finding words to speak. She has trouble speaking, no impairment or anything. She's a doctor, but and also with emotions. They had no emotions, and so we did this really deep regression with her. And when she came out of it, I was thinking, wow, she's going to be so bummed to be back here after being in this beautiful etheric place where everything's pure energy and yada, yada. And we're thinking, man, she's going to hate waking up. I hate to wake her up. And she came back. She said, oh, man, I'm so glad to be here. This is the party planet, because you have emotions and you feel things and you speak and you can talk and interact. And she said, man, this is the best place, because we can actually work out things. When you're in that spiritual kind of high vibe, everything is good state, then you don't have any motivation to fix anything or look at stuff. But in this space, you were limited by resources, apparently limited, or not really, but limited by money, by time, by our physical abilities. And those things help motivate us to keep moving forward, to keep making progress and resolve the issues that are constantly coming up it's like layers. The layers keep coming up, and I got stuff I'm working on. Everybody has things to work on.
Well, I mean, you still didn't quite answer the question, but I get where you're going with that. It's like, don't be in a hurry to move on.
You have no control over what's coming next. I mean, you do. Let me rephrase. I'm sorry. Let me back that up. Of course you have control. You have an input onto where you're going next, but have I thought about where I'm going next? I have no idea. That's the future changes with every thought that you have. So for me to spend time or an energy to try to think about, well, what do I want to do next? Well, I'm still working on right now. I'm working on right now. So that's really the answer to your question. But it's funny that it comes up a lot. It's like, oh, I want to get out of here. It's like, oh, no, you don't. You really want to be here because you can fix your stuff.
Right. So I'm going to use a book analogy. I would say that's kind of like trying to figure out if the butler did it before you get to the end of the book.
Exactly. Exactly. You need to gather your pieces of your puzzle so you can put it together. And this is where you get your pieces. So
that's right. You're not going to know if they use the knife or the rope or the candlestick until you get to it. So, all right. Well, so we're going to shift gears just a little bit and talk to you a little bit about being here on the Writer's Parachute. So as we know, all authors and writers experience obstacles and challenges when they're writing and publishing their books. So we want to know, what was your biggest challenge and what do you think you learned from it?
Oh, there've been several. I can't remember if it was just the sheer number of things to do to publish the book. And there's a lot, but I think it's really helpful to just be with like-minded people and then just one step at a time. That part for me is a hard part, but even before that for me was just realizing that I was delaying myself because of my own fear of exposing myself to, like, these are all this is my guts here. I'm opening up, putting on the front page of the New York Times. This is going to be hard. And I'm like, but I had to focus on, well, what's the intention? What am I trying to accomplish? And who can it help possibly? And so I had to just try to trust myself, and that I was keep being guided and pushed to do this, despite all the obstacles and all the hoops to jump through. There are many, but it's doable. It's doable. I think the biggest challenge was just getting past my own self. So don't let people stop you. Just keep going.
Yeah. Well, and and we've talked about this, and I know you've heard me say this, you can't worry about the critics and the naysayers out there, because they're going to be there no matter what you do. You could write a perfect book, if that's even possible, and they would still find something to complain about. It's
Yeah.
like, I believe as authors and writers, our purpose is to start the conversation,
Mhm.
to bring information to those who really need it. So
Right.
those are the people that you have to focus on. It's like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if the people that don't like it, because they're not likely going to read it, they're not going to likely
Right.
learn anything from it. But there are desperate people out there who are just waiting to hear what you have to say and to teach them. And I think I was
Agree.
one of them. I think I was one of the people that needed to read the book. So
Well, great.
I appreciate it, and I thank you. And it's like, I understand, when they've talked about this. I believe it was all the way back to one of the, I can't think of his name right at the moment, one of the famous writers from Florida, talking about, writing is opening a vein and bleeding on the page. And,
Yes.
and I think it is. You are exposing the most vulnerable part of yourself. But
Mhm.
that's what we do. That's what we do as authors and writers. And we just have to trust that our audience will resonate with that information and just keep going on.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can't let
exactly.
the negativity stop you.
And energetically,
Mhm.
you're putting your energy into this, and it basically it radiates a frequency that people will be drawn to. Of
Exactly.
all, I mean, has it ever happened to anybody? You walk in a bookstore and your eye falls on a book and you're just like, oh, I gotta look at that book. And so that's part of your intuition guiding you, like, I really need this book.
Yep.
Or just having you there in the store at that moment to see that book on the shelf. So people will find it if they're meant to find it. But I just wanted to add that, write it for yourself.
Mhm.
Write it for yourself, because the process of writing is so healing and is so expressive, that there's so much growth and healing that you can help your own self just
Mhm.
by going through the process, even if you never publish it, or whatever happens. I know for me, writing each chapter, every time I was dealing with the issues that came up in a chapter, it was the funniest thing. I would start getting Reiki clients dealing with the same thing, and I would be working on my book, and then I'd get Reiki clients with the same issue. It was uncanny. It happened many times. But over the course of this whole book, I've just experiencing and reliving and rewriting has helped me learn even deeper lessons that I didn't pick up the first time. So it's, write it for you.
Right. And that is so true. I mean, even me as a coach, you remember one of my writing groups, and I learn and relearn and reacquaint myself with experiences each person goes through, because it's different. Everybody's journey is going to be different. And I think what I can connect to your book is that when you're writing, you're actually slowing down and
Mhm.
thinking about what it is you're writing, rather than just racing to the next thing that we do
Mhm.
pretty much in life. We live in an instant gratification world, which means it's like, this moment isn't the moment we want to experience, it's the next. So if we're constantly chasing the next moment, then we
Yeah,
never actually fully appreciate the moment that we're in. And I think
exactly.
that's what writing forces you to do, is to look at what you do know, what you don't know, and what you thought you knew.
Right, right. It's never what you thought you knew, what you thought you knew.
We aren't always truthful and honest with ourselves, but it is what it is. So I want to know, what is the 3 things that you wish you knew or had somebody tell you before you began your writing and publishing journey?
I think what we've just been talking about would be number 1, to focus on what is your intention. What are you writing it for? Is it for you? Is it for someone else? Is it because there's things that are buzzing around in your head that you need to get out of your head, so you can write it on the paper and let them go? So write it for yourself. Write it for your own healing, your own peace of mind. Really, I think that because I did stop myself many times, because I let somebody read some of it and they're like, what is that all about? Or whatever their reaction was, or else they just said, oh, well, I'll read it later. But they didn't show an interest. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm pouring out my life and you're not interested. So, and I let it slow myself down. And so I would say, focus on what you're doing it for. So that would be number 1. And then I guess related is, don't let other people's opinions drive you away from what you really want to write about. And that's come up in, like, well, people aren't interested in a book about that, but who are they to know what people are interested in? So you need to listen to the inner voice that's saying, I'm feeling really compelled to write about this. So write about that, regardless of who's saying it and how many of it. Just you get so much out of writing. It's just an amazing thing. So just go with it. And then, like you've always said, I think the most important thing, I wish I had heard it earlier, but it's all perfect, but that writing is a marathon and not a sprint. I think I've tried many times to sprint, and 330 pages is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So everything is happening in perfect divine time. So even if you're experiencing delays, it's because there's a reason for it. It's going to be better. It's going to be better later for whatever reason. So those are the 3 things.
I think those are some amazing 3 things. So I'm going to ask you a couple of my fun questions. So one of them I like to ask is, if you could talk to your younger self today, what do you think you would offer as advice?
Well, this is a tricky one, because if I told myself, wouldn't want to give it something away, because sometimes our pain motivates us to keep doing things that we need to do in order to get to where we need to get to. But I think it would be nice to just get encouragement, just like, keep on swimming. You're doing exactly what you need to do right now, and you're not alone. So there's nothing to fear. Just keep swimming.
There you go. That's it. And I think
in a nutshell,
that's what I learn a lot by asking this question is, everybody, wishes they'd either started sooner, been more brave, been more outgoing, been something.
Yeah, no regrets.
That got them on their journey sooner. So,
right.
And I think that, as long as your advice is in there, you're not giving anything away. You're just giving that encouragement. It's like, it's okay. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to go, go look down from the high diving board and be afraid. It's okay.
Right. and also the that a lot of people come seeking direction, and I know I was. And it comes up a lot. A lot of people feel lost. A lot of people don't know which way to turn. And the message I get most often from Spirit is like, just move forward. Whatever direction you move forward in is the direction you need to move forward in, because if you're moving forward, it's so much easier to just do a little zig or a zag on your course if you're already moving. But if you're not moving, then you're going backwards. So just keep moving forward. And your path might have a little zig and a zag in it, but it's fine, because you're still going to reach the goal regardless.
Exactly. And I think that's great advice. So what is next for Adria? I know you got more books and more things. So what's next?
Well, definitely I have 2 more volumes of this, the Disbelief to Assurance series. So there's those 2. There's another one in my head that I haven't even started writing yet. I have the notes and the recordings and stuff, but I've got some research to do on that. So definitely more books. I love the writing, but I also have a many year dream, decades long dream of developing and opening a retreat center. So I am working on developing that now, Bright Heart Transformation Center. And the goal is to create a supportive, uplifting environment to help people explore. Like in the book, there's several instances where I go to a retreat or a conference where there's other spiritually minded people, and I have the most amazing growth experiences, just the most amazing experiences, plus meeting other people who believe in similarly. It's just such a boost to your just everything. So I want to create a place that's a safe haven. So I have plans. I have big plans.
Well, you'll definitely have to keep us informed on those plans. And of course, we definitely want to have you come back when we get these next couple of volumes out and what comes beyond that. So where can we find your books?
They should be all at the retailers, Amazon and the local books and bookstores. My website will also be offering that. So the usual places.
Okay. All right. So from my understanding, it's going to be available worldwide, and
yes,
it is coming out sometime in next month.
Yes, late October. Okay. Either the 22nd or my mom's birthday, Halloween.
All right. And of course, we're going to have a pre-order link for you in the show notes, and we'll have a link to her website. So what about social media? Can they connect with you on social media?
Yes, they can look me up on TikTok and Instagram or Facebook, and of course my website. Okay. There will be links. So
yeah, and again, we'll have links to all of her social media for you guys in the show notes. So any upcoming events or giveaways or anything that you'd like to share with the audience before we go pull the ripcord on our tip of the week?
Oh yes. When the pre-sale, if you do go and do the pre-sale, you can get a free guided meditation recording from me. If you send your just a screenshot of your receipt from your order, I will send you a guided meditation MP3. And do I give my email address now?
Yeah, so we're going to connect you to that. I will have the information in the show notes for you. So what she's saying is, if you follow the pre-order link and go ahead and pre-order her book, if you'll just take a screenshot of your receipt and send that to Adria at adriagauthor@gmail.com. We'll have that in the show notes with the directions. Then she's going to send you a free guided meditation, which will be exciting. I'm very excited. I hope I get my copy.
Oh, definitely. And I also have a meetup group. I forgot to mention, I have a meetup group, and we'll put that link also in the notes, so that I offer classes and do individual sessions and just some fun stuff.
All right.
Classes.
We'll include that. So if you guys have the Meetup app, please be sure to go ahead and search for Adria on the Meetup app. If not, we will have a direct link for you to connect with her there. Is there anything else that you want to share before we go pull the ripcord?
Yes, just some parting words that I would like to say. At one point in my journey, I was coming out of a really rough session, and there were three very wise spiritual beings who told me something that would help me guide me on my journey. Because how do you know when you're improving? How do you know which way to turn when you're feeling lost? And they told me the keys to developing spiritual mastery or just finding your way is to know these three things. And just become as best you can, do the best you can on these three things, and you'll be on your way. It is being yourself, trusting yourself, and loving yourself. If you can do all those things well, then you're on your way.
Wow. I'm not sure I can top that. That is a great parting shot. Be yourself, trust yourself, and
love yourself.
Love yourself. I should know that. So maybe write those down, put them on your mirror, and those are from author Adria G to you. So We're going to go, we want you to stick around. We're going to go pull the ripcord on our tip of the week, and then we'll come back and say thank you to Adria. So tip of the week we're going to talk about this week is some of Adria's challenges that she had. And part of it was unexpected challenges. So unexpected challenges are those things that you're just not prepared to deal with. You know, we had a conversation a couple of times lively this week in the writing groups about things that come up when you're ready to publish your book. I've had people come up and they're like, well, how do you pick a trim size? How do you know what size to make your book? Well, and the easy answer for that is if you're writing a typical book that, you know, most common sizes are either 6x9 or 5.5 by 8.5. Pretty standard. This person was not writing a standard book, they're writing a children's book. And then I will tell you, as I have always told you, there are only guidelines and guide rails to writing. There are no rules. So you kind of have to pick and choose these things for yourself. And what I strongly suggest a lot of times for people to do, especially when they're trying to determine a trim size, go to a bookstore. Go check out the section of books and what you're writing on. Check out that genre. Check to see what sizes they're using. What are the popular sizes? What sizes do you like? Ultimately, you need to be able to fit within the genre. So you don't want to be an outlier for the wrong reason, but you also want to fit with your personal aesthetic. This is something that's going to be part of you for the rest of your life. So make sure you're happy with the size that you choose. Not that you can't republish it later in a different size, but you know, go check out the bookstore. It's good practice for upcoming authors is to go to the bookstore to see the way that they're presented. You know, flip through the books, see the way that they present the materials. Are they using matte covers or gloss covers? Are they preferring one size versus the other? Are there a certain page count or certain thickness to these books? Again, you don't necessarily need to be exactly like the other books, but again, you don't want to be an outlier for the wrong reason. We also talked this week about some of the print issues versus the digital issues. What comes up a lot of times is color. So for print, you have to be within the CMYK print parameters spectrum, because printers are limited by the inks that are available that they can reproduce the colors with. Now, when you're talking about something that's digital, such as an ebook, there is no limitation to the colors, and therefore you can use the RGB, RBG,
RGB, yeah.
the letters, but you can use, which basically means it's the rainbow without any limitations that you can use for digital. But when you're thinking about printing, you need to have the CMYK format, or it's not going to come out. It's going to look very washed out, very kind of muddy and grayed out. So these are some of the things that you need to look at. So I would strongly suggest that if you're writing a book and you're going to self-publish it, and a lot of these things, if you're being traditionally published or if you're going with a hybrid publisher, a lot of these things are going to be done for you. But it's good to know these things. It's good to know these things in case you change your mind down the road. And you kind of want to understand how your craft and your profession works. So I would say the best resources for those is both KDP and Ingram Sparks have, under their tools and resources or their help section, a PDF printout that you can get at any time and print it out. And it gives you all of the requirements and the parameters and the expectations that you're going to need to create your files and your books and your covers and the illustrations and all of the very technical advice that you're going to need when you're self-publishing your book. So even if you're going to be traditionally published or you're going with a hybrid publisher, it's a good idea to go and get a copy of one of these PDF formats from one of them and read through it, just so that you understand the process. I hear a lot of people that are with hybrid publishers or traditional publishers, and they're like, I don't understand why it takes so long. They do this all the time. They do those books every single day. Why does it take, 6-8 months? Well, I think if you read through these PDFs, you would understand why it takes so long. So good practice for you, and knowledge is always good and helpful. Some of the other unexpected challenges that we talk about is learning all of the different facets. Where do you go get your ISBN numbers? Where do you get your Library of Congress numbers? Where do you go get your covers designed? Can I use this kind of picture or that kind of picture? What, how do I do a copyright? What's a back cover copy entail? What does, what do I have to put in the front? What goes in the back? Where does what go where? And what, is like there's 1,001 questions. And what I would say again, it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. Take them one at a time, learn them. There is so much information. This is one of the great things about the age that we currently live in. There is a plethora of information available on the internet. There are multiple YouTube videos, I can guarantee, on pretty much every subject that you would want to know about writing and publishing. So do yourself a favor, do some of your own research. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised that it's not as scary or not as, technical as you think it will be. It's just learning each piece and how they all work together. It's kind of like looking at an automobile and then taking it apart and seeing the parts scattered across the concrete. So
This is good. This is good. Yes.
yes. So that's going to be our tip of the week for you. Do your homework, expect the unexpected, and just keep moving forward, as Adria says. So until next time, we want to thank our very special guest, Adria Gaebrialla, for coming here on the show. We want to encourage you guys to go out and get a copy of her book, From Disbelief to Assurance, that's going to be available next month. We will have a pre-order link for you in the show notes, as well as to connect with her on her social media and her website. And don't forget, if you do pre-order her book, you send her a screenshot of your receipt and she will forward you a MP3 meditation for free. So thank you so much, Adria. We appreciate you being here on the Writer's Parachute. And again, we want to make sure that all of your writing dreams land well. Until next time, bye.
Bye.